Sounds like we have the Incredible Hulk on the mic here. Jesus Christ, do you have to breathe that heavily on the mic?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, you.
Yeah, you. You're the only one.
I wasn't kidding though. Vietnam is 1 hour behind the Philippines.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh, how's the weather over there, Paul? Yeah, just kidding.
It's great. Okay.
Yeah, Harry, my son, as you guys met last week.
What's
Fong
up?
is another guy that works at the pho place down the street. I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Two guys from two worlds. This is the FlipSide. New episodes is uploaded on YouTube, Facebook, and Spotify every week on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Now, your hosts, Jay and Noel.
Three, two, one. Good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the FlipSide with Jay and Noel. It is the 17th of April at now 8:43 p.m. and it is at tomorrow at the 18th at 8:43 a.m. at the Orient where Noel is, and
I'm in the future.
Yes, it is episode 34. Welcome back, people. This is like a continuation of what happened a couple days back, where we had an interview, a couple of kids who we will name Harry and Malaya. And we are joined today by Harry again. Harry, say hi.
What's up, guys?
And Fong, how's it going?
It's very good.
Good.
Thank you for having me here, by the way.
Yeah,
No
thanks
problem.
thanks for trusting us with this and for doing this, boys.
Yeah, no problem.
No problem.
Fong, I got a question. Do you have your shirt
Let's
off?
go. No.
Are you really shirtless there? That's
No.
awesome, bro. I don't know. We're gonna name this episode the Shirtless Panda.
I'm
Oh.
just gonna sit here and listen, guys.
That's actually that's
don't
awesome.
Okay, all right.
Yep. So one of the main things of what we wanted to have you guys on again is just to like try to find a better comparison again on like between mine and Noel's generation, where two guys mid-40s who grew up in the best generation ever, which was the 90s.
But the way you're saying it, it's like we're putting two generations against each other. I want to understand them because I feel like I've been left behind already.
That's true. Actually, I'm not trying to compare them together. I think I'm trying to like just trying to stay relevant, if that's the right way to say. What do you think, Noel? Is that right?
Yeah, better way to put it. Because yeah, exactly.
So you had a question for them earlier. What was that?
Yeah, no, I couldn't help but I mean, it's awesome that we're all Asian here, right? But it's awesome. I wanted to get into like what experience you guys are having as far as being a minority race in your school, and not to put the races against each other, but what kind of experience are you guys having? Are you is it an all Asian school? Are they all white? What's the demographic? What's the right word? The variety, the
Diversity.
diversity. Oh, yeah, what's the diversity like at school?
Swallow first. Swallow. After you chew, you swallow so that you can speak properly.
All right. Well, from my own personal experience, it is definitely like unique, because I feel like at the school that I go to, which is Broad Run High School at Ashburn, Virginia, I feel like it's very like diverse, and that's almost, I feel like everywhere I go, there's always a race that I've never seen before, like sometimes I always just kind of like a new race.
Can I pause real quick and interrupt you real quick?
Yes.
What do you mean a race or a race that you've never seen before? Like somebody with tails or something?
No, it's kind of like Play-Doh, because let's just say you put a yellow Play-Doh and a black Play-Doh together, and it'll make like, I don't know, maybe a green Play-Doh, you know what I'm saying? Because like maybe like there's like Blasian, Wasian, Mexican and like Asian fusion, I feel like there's so much variety sometimes, like that's too much.
Pretty sure.
Is your school like predominantly Caucasian people or what?
I feel like it's not dominant in any area, but I feel like if I gotta like pick a race that is like dominant, I'll say the black people.
Yeah,
Not
honestly,
like I don't mean like dominant in the more I mean, like numbers wise, is there
Yeah, yeah.
more white people there, more black
More
people
there's
there?
more
Oh,
there's more black
okay,
people.
alright.
I feel like everywhere I go,
Actually, no, no, no,
there's
no,
always
no, no.
someone with like
It's definitely
melanin.
Caucasian. Oh.
That's
Wait,
interesting.
so these two guys are
In my
not going
own
to the same
opinion,
school.
oh shit,
Oh no, we go to the same school.
same grade.
What'd
Oh,
you say,
okay.
Noah? What'd you
Yeah.
say?
I was asking if they were going to a different school.
No, they're actually classmates. They go to a Broadrun High School. Shout out.
So
Yeah.
what's that experience like? Is there like a race factor? Is that a factor at all? I mean, are there cliques at school based on race or where you grew up, or how do you guys sort of divide amongst yourselves?
Uh, Cliques usually. Yeah, if you play sports, you usually hang out with people who you play with, especially if you're in a team. And I see myself, because both me and Fong are wrestlers. We always tend to hang around wrestlers, even if it's in
Mm.
our school or not. Usually
Right.
it's just cliques, yeah. But it's
Congratulations, by the way, this year, guys. You guys did really, really well.
thank you.
Yeah. So
On a
it's
side
usually
note, I was JV captain.
Yeah.
Okay.
so it's usually based on just trying to understand how the cliques go. So it's usually based on the stuff that you guys are doing, like the activities that you guys are related to doing at school.
Yeah, usually. There's no popular or non-popular kids because
Mm.
usually nowadays, if you wanted to go to a party, it's public to everybody. And yeah, it's just the fact that you have to get there. But usually, yeah, it's what you're doing at school. If you're in a club and you find someone else in another club, you might just be hanging around with them if you're in the
One
same
of the
club.
biggest things in our high school, I think one of the big factors that played into effect as well was race, right? Like a lot of the Asians hung out with the Asians, a lot of the Latinos. Well, there wasn't much
Yeah.
Latinos in our
Or
school when we went there.
or if you were taking the bus.
That's true. There's always that specific click of like the bus click and the driving click. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right. So it's not because we were sharing the same activities after school. It was simply because we all didn't want to miss the bus together.
Correct. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, plus back then, now school buses have a specific time schedule and they actually take like school bus. In our school back then, it wasn't like a school bus, it was a public transportation, right? Remember that?
That's right. That's right. That's
So-
what I meant. Yeah.
We didn't
I mean,
exactly.
I feel like usually it's the area. It depends on the area that you're living at.
That's
honestly.
true. Yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like if they really wanted to, they can implement that. But we have school buses, so you just take the
Right.
school bus.
Hold on. I have a quick question. So, like, both you guys say that you guys from the 90s, right?
Right.
Yeah. I just want to know, like, what makes it so, like, significant? Like, what makes you think that it's different back then compared to, like, now, Like, school-wise.
School wise, it's a huge difference. For one thing, you guys have it a million times easier. You guys literally have to flip a tablet or a notebook open or a laptop open to find everything. We have to like haul ass to go to the library, check out a book, make sure that we have a library card so that we can actually do our research and whatnot. And it involved reading an actual book.
It's the same thing for the teachers too. It's like
Right.
when they used to say information, it wasn't necessarily the most updated information, but now it's like that the teacher could have been or should have been like Googling the information, right?
Right. It's got to be harder for teachers nowadays, though. They got to keep up with everything that's happening
Yeah.
all the time. The
Yeah.
constant update.
Yeah.
I mean-
In other words, I think what Jason and I are saying is like back then, the information was going slow that you are dependent on what's going on by what your teachers are saying. Now it's like you guys are up even ahead of the teacher, and then the teachers are trying to keep up with you. I mean, as far as, things going on around the school, beyond the lessons that you guys are learning. So there's
Yeah.
like that dynamic of what's going on inside the classroom versus what's going on outside. If that makes sense.
Yeah, but I feel like that's a great point by both of you, but I think you gotta acknowledge the fact that these information are public knowledge. So it's open to anyone and everyone. So
Yeah,
I feel
sure.
like as you say, I think you mentioned the fact that some students are like even better than the teacher nowadays. And in my opinion, I think that's just a better way to learn, you know, because that way you
Yeah.
can like absorb
Yeah.
information and
Right.
you know what I mean, kind of like learn it on your own instead of just relying on your teacher to be like, yeah, you have to learn this way, you know.
With you saying that, with you saying that, Fall, do you feel like you guys? I don't know if I can't obviously we can't speak for you guys, or you guys can't speak for your entire generation. But from your personal experience, do you guys feel like you guys are taking advantage of that knowledge that's easily available to you guys?
Yeah, most definitely.
No.
I feel like we do. I mean, whether or not we scroll through TikTok, there's always going to be some sort of information. It's the fact that if our attention span can handle it, because even though back then, you guys had to, go through textbooks and stuff, like humans' attention span is so like the same, except now it's being shortened because we have our, that information is so convenient to us. We just don't find the need to actually look further into it. Once we get it, and then we move on usually.
Doesn't that get
Interesting.
overwhelming knowing that you guys have everything at the tip of your fingers?
Yes,
No.
very.
I mean, for Fong,
Because you know what I'm saying. I don't want to put Harry on the spot, but you know that pre-workout of abuse is like too much. You know, like I don't want to go too deep into it, but like I feel like going to the gym itself is good, but the fact that you get to associate yourself with the fact of using pre-workout, unorganic, uncertified USDA stuff, you know, like it's just a little weird.
Holy
That wasn't the
crap,
question.
Harry.
Fong, that wasn't the question.
That
The
wasn't the question, but you know what? He made a good point. You gotta admit.
The question was whether
Okay, how much pre-workout did you take today, buddy?
Okay. Let's not get out of context here too much. All right, we don't need to attack each other here. But with everything being so easily accessible, with everything in your grasp and whatnot, right? And then some of you, obviously, just by both of you, you're split. One saying that you guys are taking advantage of it, the other saying you're not. Where do you think the common ground is in regards to what you guys are saying about all this information that you guys have right in front of you? Because it's easily accessible, and honestly,
I'll give
it
you guys
feels-
I'll give you guys an example, Jake. Hold that thought. But
Yeah.
back then, there was Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. You just had to choose. What are you gonna play? Now it's like just so many choices.
I think that's where I was trying to get at. You know,
yeah.
I was trying to
It's
get at there. How do you
definitely
guys manage that?
Yeah, I feel like that's the most important point nowadays. I feel like teachers should learn how to tell students to how to like absorb the information and use that information instead of telling them to not use the information. You know, because like as you say, you have the every information in the world at the tip of your finger, but most of the time people don't know how to use it. People don't know like when to use it, how to use it, and what's the correct way to use it. So I feel like that's the most important way to kind of like focus on.
So, correct me if I'm wrong here, but from what I heard, it seems like the teachers are not exactly doing their part as well in regards to properly communicating all this stuff to the students.
I feel like
again,
the teachers are okay. You know, honestly, they try their best to tell it. Sorry. To like tell us about that information and stuff regarding that, but they can't really do anything because of the school system.
Right.
So they have to stick
hands
to
are
what
tied.
they have to stick to. They can't really work around it, you know?
Yeah, their hands are tied.
Yeah.
I have to admit, so far we've probably been, I don't know, 8 minutes into this, and with the number of questions that's already been asked, I'm pretty surprised at how you guys are handling your responses. I'm pretty impressed, to be quite honest with you. Appreciate that.
See, this is the mind of a dude who don't use pre-workout at all right here.
Okay.
I'm saying the same
Okay,
thing.
This is the mind of pre-workout who don't use pre-workout.
You're also the dude that's sitting in a toilet right now. So
Yeah, who doesn't have a shirt on?
Really not the toilet. Like, where do you see the toilet at? You know?
I know. Listen, let me get. Well, Noel, do you have any follow-up questions?
I wanted to, it was pretty heavy already, but I wanted to go a little light real quick. And is there anything that you find embarrassing or funny or disgraceful about people in our generation?
I swear we've been doing this so much. I was about to ask that question.
I mean,
I was
isn't
about
it
to ask that
embarrassing
question.
to see your dad online doing a podcast?
Nah, I don't find it embarrassing. I actually find it really funny and cool because
Aw.
I mean just funny
Yeah, I
in
know.
general. Yeah, but
I
like
feel like I feel like Mr. Noel brought up an excellent question because you know I feel like nowadays there's just so much like stereotyping that's going on that makes people feel like it's not okay to be something. When it's okay because I know like this is probably not the best example, but let's just say I have a friend who's trying to be like a rapper, right? Like just like a new rapper. He's new to the game, the industry, and he's like doing his thing. But let's just say his first few songs are like kind of like not good, and people gonna be like yeah, people are gonna like clown him. People are gonna like, say like, oh yeah, you're not gonna make it. But in reality, I feel like if he's doing what he's love and like what he wants to do, then that's just be it.
Hmm.
Like it's okay.
That one I gotta ask, where do you think he gets that, or where do you get the idea that it's okay to be yourself? I mean, and I'm not even kidding, because back in the days, it's like if you stick your head out and nobody agrees, you're like, okay, the market has spoken. I'll just shut up.
Yeah.
Now I admire the self confidence. Is that bravado? Is that believing in yourself too much and not being in reality?
I feel like that's the aspect of our generation. The differences is that your generation cares a lot about generational differences. Ours really doesn't. We don't care that much about it because I feel like we don't we don't kind of hold it up to as high as you guys do. Like the difference between generations. We're just like, oh yeah, these people were in the past generation than us. It's whatever. It's time to move on. Stuff like that. That's why I feel like this whole like because I'm telling you, our attention span, so we don't care as much as we're supposed to nowadays. So any disregard or shamefulness acts upon like how we want to be or our character, we just like we take it as it is, and then we feel sad a little bit, but then we move on. We're just like, oh, it's whatever.
Basically, your dad and I are still trying to get out of the box. You guys are just dancing around it and playing with the box.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys are just jumping in and out of the box. I apologize about
I think
here for a sec.
I think Harry brought up a really good point, which made me think of like the cultural, like the like cultural and like tradition and stuff like that. Because I guess like obviously we're all Asian here, right? So, but your idea of being an Asian is probably different from ours a lot.
That's what I wanted to get to. Like, where do we get that mindset? Because that's something that I could learn from you guys. I mean, yes, we're Asian and we have that, that Asian guilt or humility or whatever it might be that's pushing us down. Well, what do you think we need? What do you think we need to learn, or I need to learn?
Just the fact that it's for us, it's the fact diverse environment. You guys grew up in like separated like places, and nowadays if you really wanted to be in a diverse environment, you could just go to Walmart or Target and you'd be filled with anyone that's any race that you've even one that you've never seen, maybe like a Persian Asian combo, but still it's very diverse
yourself
now. Yeah.
I mean, from I don't know if I can't speak for everybody here. Like you brought it up multiple times. Yes, we're all Asians here, but I think for me, coming from my generation at least, I feel like my race meant more or means a little bit something more than how it is now. Does that make sense? I guess Harry made a good point where nowadays they just don't, it's not that they don't care, but it's not really like used as a judgment as much. I don't know if that makes sense.
There's like a saying in our generation, it's like it's not that deep. So you just like, usually.
I think that's what they're saying, Jay, that we these guys just brush it off just like that, and we are like we're acting like it's ketchup sticking to our shirt. Like it looks like a coffee stain, but for them it's like, nah, who cares?
Yeah, I mean, because
I don't know if I should be see, like, just to be quite honest, I don't know if I'm a little offended or not, because part of me feels like after hearing it, I know it's not what you guys meant, but after hearing it, part of me feels like it's just like not that big of a deal, or it doesn't matter as much being who we are.
I feel like
this is what we mean, guys. This is what we mean, just so that we're on the same page. As an example, the reason why I ask you guys, don't you guys find it embarrassing that your dad or that you guys are online with us? Because it's online. It's going to be online forever. Doesn't that scare you? Doesn't that make you worry?
Okay, all right. I think I got a pretty good response to that. But like before that, I want to ask you like a question. Do you know what makes a person brave?
Yeah.
Yeah, acting despite of fear.
Yeah. What makes a person brave to me is understanding who you are, is accepting who you are. If you can't accept that, then there's no way that you're going to be able to brave no matter what in front of anybody else, because you got to do that in front of yourself first.
Yeah.
That's just my
I mean, and I totally agree with that. But in my own definition, I feel like a brave person is a person that still moves even though they're scared. So, like you said, Mr. Noel talk about how, let's just say, oh, your dad is a podcast like a streamer, and to some people that might be like a bad thing, or they might consider it a bad thing. But again, I think you brought up the point that it's like a stain on your shirt, like we just like wipe off. But I feel like nowadays it's more like the stain is still there, but we choose not to care like about it. Like it's still there.
I feel like it's really not even just like our generation. It's just our character. Because me and Fong are pretty like okay, like laid back guys. Especially with my dad when he posted during districts. I found it embarrassing at first, but then I was like, you know what? I kind of appreciate it because it's cool. It's cool to have a parent being online and you get to engage with them. It's pretty cool. It's not like so embarrassing.
Well, I mean, I was definitely proud about that moment. I mean, every single match that I watched, either my son's wrestlings or my daughter's softball game, I'm the supportive guy. I'm always like, and I'm going to judge you for it if you're doing something wrong or whatnot, but that's what supporting parents do. I'm just saying.
Hey, Fong, Harry, don't get us wrong here, okay? We're not trying to compare and contrast and put us against each other. I'm asking because I want to be more like you guys. I want to learn from that because
why do you need to be like them?
No. But what I mean is like, YouTube opened up 2007. I'm a filmmaker. I make videos. Like I work. It's part of my bread and butter. But I hardly do stuff on YouTube because I'm so self-conscious and like worried about like, oh, what are people going to think, kind of thing. And then you guys are just doing it like it's coming out of your ass.
I feel like it's we, at least me, I like to follow like a philosophy, just like stoicism. So I don't really care that much.
That's cap.
All right, bro. But I mean, like, I don't really care about that much about my reputation in regards. I find it if I find it embarrassing, I'll find it embarrassing at that time in that moment. But it's still gonna be there. It's not gonna be. It's not, even if you delete it, it's still gonna be there. So everything is permanent, but you just have to learn how to be able to move on from it.
Maybe
I appreciate that.
Maybe we need to follow on to that little nitty gritty right there, huh?
I'm trying. We're trying here. We're trying.
It's definitely harder for our generation, even to try to be a little bit more outgoing, because back then we didn't really have all these outlets that we can just get into, like YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and whatnot.
Just getting into that. Sorry about that.
No, you're fine.
Just getting into that. Yeah, online we're more outgoing, but nowadays in person, it's really, a lot of people have social anxiety. They can't talk to one another. But online, we're completely okay with it. I have no idea. I think it's because of how we are. Like you said, we have that outlet, but even the fact that we can go in person and talk to each other face to face can make me still nervous.
Look at that.
I mean, that's exactly what I was trying to get to, was that. Exactly. Literally. Social anxiety. With everything that's out there and whatnot.
Listen,
you answered it. Does it build this kind of anxiety for everybody? I don't know how, if you guys are affected by it,
I mean,
last couple of days ago we were at the mall and I was like making fun of the fact that we were all like, I was walking around in a group with a couple of other friends and then I was like literally shouting at the top of my lungs like, hey everybody, 6 feet, social distancing. I felt comfortable doing it because it was in person.
Right.
Face to face. And people were like awkward, laughing, embarrassed, whatever. I didn't care. But if that was online, I'd be thinking 10 times about doing that joke. But because I was doing the joke in person, face to face, I didn't care. Like whatever people think, they're not recording it kind of. Yeah.
That's what builds up to the social anxiety though, because how can you really determine certain aspects of what the conversation is going or how the conversation is going via text? I always tell my kids tone matters in regards to speaking, conversation. You could tell how something is being projected just by their tone. You know what I mean? With social but you guys think that in social gatherings it's not as for you guys when you guys hang out with your friends, do you guys not have like a lot of conversation or anything like that or what?
Yeah, we do.
Oh.
But it's usually dumb. We're just like, you know, let's fight each other. Let's have a UFC tournament.
Yeah.
Let's can you beat me in a stuff like that? It's just how we are.
Shallow
Honestly.
is the word shallow.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it's shallow because to me, like I value those moments, because these are my friends, like I value these moments being with them. So nothing is really shallow,
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. Like if we wanted to get deep, we get deep. We talk, serious for once. But then most of the time we're just joking around because we usually see each other a lot, and if we ever need to talk to one another seriously, then we can just do that.
Right. Are you guys more comfortable having your more personal conversations via the phone or Snapchat or online or whatever, as opposed to in person?
Honestly, I don't have a problem with any one of them.
Yeah, same with me. I don't really find it an issue.
I can
Communication.
see that
But-
with you two though, because you guys are very outgoing persons and sociable person, people.
But like, I can see how it can be a problem for like a lot of people though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as here say, I think a lot of people nowadays have like social anxiety, which I mean it's all like as I say, it's okay, but like I feel like I don't know, it just like I just don't know how we went from like talking to each other like almost every time we see each other to like having like a phone and then we just stop, like it's just kind of rude to me. Like how do you guys feel like about that? Because you guys were like the time before you had phones, before all this technology. So like, how do you feel to like see it?
Go ahead. Well,
It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's overwhelming. It's
yeah. Go ahead. Sorry.
before if I didn't if I didn't if I was having an argument with Jason, for example, if I could just keep away from him. I could just not meet up at the tambayan or wherever we meet up. I could be busy. But now it's kind of like, he knows exactly where I'm at, and he knows that I'm avoiding him. There's no escape from the fact that I'm upset at the guy. I can't just have a breather.
Right.
It's like, hey, we set a time. I texted you. You saw my text. There's a scene icon there. You know that you saw my text. How come you didn't reply? I know that you saw my text. How come you didn't reply? There's no escape from if there's animosity or awkwardness. It's like palpable in your face, and I have to respond to that.
I mean, honestly, I feel like your generation is more of a face-to-face and can accept the change of having the phone or like the new outlet to be able to communicate to each other. Because you guys always
we definitely can accept it. It's just taking longer for a lot of people to adapt.
to like adapt to the change. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Sorry, but us, it's just we can always talk to each other through our phones. So if we were to say I don't want to talk to, let's say, Fong anymore, I could just like completely block him out of my socials. I'll still see him in person, but if he texts me and he knows that I don't text him back, or he knows I blocked him, if he knows we have an issue, then he won't even talk to me, because we're just that type of generation. If you press a block button, or if you ghost someone, you ghost someone, they won't even try to walk up to you and talk to you in person and ask, hey, I texted you, why aren't you saying something back? It's because it's just, if someone does that, it's gonna be weird. We're just gonna think, oh, they're a weird person, oh, they're kind of obsessed, or oh, they're crazy. It's like,
isn't that scary, Noel?
Normal.
Isn't that scary? Where back then, if something like that escalates, you really got to confront that person and then say la vie. Now, you don't even need to do anything. All you got to do is press a button, and then done.
Yeah.
You're out of my life forever. Like, go F yourself, type of thing.
I feel like that confrontation is so important though, because having that confrontation, like, it solves problems.
Yeah,
It actually
most
solves
definitely,
problems.
most definitely, yeah. The confrontation makes a
it, like,
difference.
Like, it gives you like an outcome, like, even though that outcome, it can be bad or good, but at least it gives you an outcome. Nowadays, like, Like I think people just be fighting demons, you know, like they just be like over like thinking in the head too much nowadays.
Yeah.
There's
Everybody
too
Because
many
like
overcomplicates
unresolved.
me
everything.
myself,
Yeah.
yeah,
There's too
like me
many
myself,
unresolved
I'm
issues right now. Like between your generation, the younger generations nowadays, there's too many unresolved things, and there's too many miscommunications because it's always left out there. Unlike before, like Noel said, you gotta face that person to be able to like have that proper communication going.
Yeah.
Scary,
but
scary, scary.
yeah, yeah, but yeah, I
One
just want
one
to
of
touch on
the
this problem. Yeah. Oh,
sorry, go
yeah,
ahead.
go. Yeah, yeah, that's
Oh,
fine. I just want to touch on like this problem again. It's just that like I feel like it's so important nowadays to like, cause like every time I have a problem with somebody, I always tell to their face. I'm like, okay, like I feel like you're being a little annoying right now. I can't lie, but like it's cool though. So like
hmm.
that's how like I do things because I want to let them know that like that's how I feel. So that they won't like overthink. Because for me personally, I overthink a lot.
Mhm.
So knowing that what that person could think or like you know what I mean, like come up with their own conclusion or something. Like I
Right.
don't want to do that to them. You know what I mean? So I'll always give them like a confrontation. It's like okay, like bro, not gonna lie, I don't think we should be talking anymore. You know, because like I don't like you.
Confrontation's a
That's
strong
how I
word,
am.
though.
Yeah.
Confrontation sounds like a strong word. Maybe just at least let them know or be upfront is probably the word. But confrontation is like, what? You want a piece of me, motherfucker? You know?
Yeah. Confrontation for us is very light. It's not like we're gonna try to fight somebody. For us, our
Yeah, I have no
generation, that is.
enemies. I have no
Yeah.
Mm,
enemies.
We have
Yeah.
no enemies.
Yeah.
mm.
Let me touch on through a quick question to you guys as well. Obviously Noel line knows where we stand in our generation, but what do you guys think makes your generation better than ours?
We're smart. We're really smart. We're so much smarter than all of the past generations. And it's hard to deny that the fact that we have information in our hands.
Hmm.
We
It's
some
not a
of us
fact. It's a
it's
hypothesis.
it's not a hypothesis. Like honestly, like there's some kids that are younger than me that know more than me, and I don't like on some informations. I know how to
How
cook
do you
some.
measure smartness? Like how do
It's
you how do you measure that?
it's
Like you.
I feel like it's just the fact of having to know things. Honestly, it's not even like if
Is
you're
it general
smart, if you're good at
knowledge?
math. Yeah, just general knowledge, just straight general knowledge. I feel like
So common
Information.
knowledge.
yeah,
So having a common
not
knowledge that
not
makes you
common
smart.
knowledge. Common knowledge is different than general knowledge. General knowledge is having the ability to know. Common knowledge is like I feel like social knowledge. I feel like that's what it is. I don't know.
Nah,
It's the
see
same thing, I think.
that
Yeah.
that
Like
that there's a lot to be said to that statement because general
Yeah.
knowledge is the basic stuff. It's the common knowledge. It has a lot of similarities to common knowledge. But
yeah,
and nowadays, yes, I have to admit, people nowadays are smarter. Okay, but the bad part about that is they're too smart for their own good.
yeah, we tend to overthink a lot. So
Yeah,
if we were to someone would tell us like anything, then we tend to think like, oh, what do they mean by that? Or are they like trying to manipulate me? Are they doing stuff? Because we just know these things and we just look out for them because we know these things.
and they're learned because it's easily accessible. There's
Yeah.
there's no there's no experience learned from that. It's all just general knowledge learned from somewhere that's easily accessible, like online or whatever. But everything back then has to be learned through experience,
Yeah.
and that's key. It's good to be smart, but without knowing the back ends of what you're smart about, it's a scary thing. It's a scary thing.
Yeah, but like I just want to bring up real quick. How do you guys feel about book smart and street smart?
You need to be both.
But I think that's exactly what we mean.
Yeah.
Like you could be smart, book smart, but you've never actually experienced the thing.
That's
It's like
true. Yeah.
it's like
That's
me coming over to Jason's house the other day, where your dad grew up, Harry. You know, he was talking about it with me on Google Earth. We were looking at the pictures, looking at the map and everything. But it's different experiencing actually being at the neighborhood,
Right.
Yeah.
actually be on the ground.
Oh yeah,
Like
most
you
definitely.
guys,
Yeah.
you guys could literally turn on your laptop or your phones and learn about the Civil War that happened literally on my street, and I was actually there when it was happening. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The difference of book smart and street smart, but I mean your generation where our generation kind of knows it because we've experienced it for the most part.
Yeah.
You know,
Everything has just been recorded and we could just pull it up on our phones pretty much.
right.
Yeah.
Doesn't even matter what it is. Everything's being recorded.
But your senses are not really sort of engaged, or I just felt like I had a richer experience compared to what I mean, it's great that I got to see it on Google Earth, that I was on Street View, but that's for me, that's not enough. I had to be there.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on, but quick question though. Is there a thing on you guys' screen to say remaining meeting time too? Or is
Yeah,
that-
that's right.
What'd you say?
Okay, that's
Yeah.
right. Okay.
Yeah,
that's cool.
we got 4 minutes left. So with the
Okay,
remaining 4 minutes that we got left, Jane, let me take this one real quick.
Go ahead.
So,
Go ahead.
so just going back to what we were just talking about, with what you just brought up, Vong, street smart versus book smart. Is there anything that you wish you knew or you couldn't find online, but you would like to learn from us? Or would you like to learn from an older generation?
Possible. Yeah, I don't think that's
Okay.
possible.
Yeah.
No,
Sadly,
something that maybe
Nah.
something that you don't understand about us, something that you don't understand about our generation.
I mean, honestly I do. But it's like it's more of a like personal thing. Like in
Go
your
for it.
generation, why do you guys always compare? Because like I feel like the older the generation gets, the more aggressive they are in comparing which
Yeah.
generation is the better.
Yep.
And then the younger we are, we just tend to not even care. But we're gonna turn out the same way because we're always gonna ridicule the future generations. You know, like we're gonna always think we're better than them. But
Can I take this?
you know,
It's a good
Yeah.
point. That's a good point. Go ahead,
It's
Jay.
a really good point. It's actually a really good point. We compare because, like I said earlier, unfortunately, the younger generations now learn without learning from experience. Experience will tell you a lot of things, okay? May it be good or bad. Unfortunately, history always repeats itself. Fortunately enough, the facts of history says that and proves that history always repeats itself. Hence, I don't know if I'm making sense here. From personal perspective, when I compare not coming from experience because in a way I already know it and what's going on. You know what I mean? But the way I do it is I try to lay it down to give you the comparison and let you make that decision. You know what I mean? And I don't just do that to my own kids. I do it to anybody younger than me that I talk to that ask for some random crap or whatever. You got to be able to give the back end of the story to be able to give your future generation or whoever it is you're talking to a more broader option. You know what I mean? Am I making sense?
That flew over my head,
Mhm.
but this is what I'm thinking.
yeah, me too. Honestly, me too. Yeah, I'm just nodding here.
I'm sorry.
Guys,
It's all good.
guys, you could read and text. You can read and text each other about sex, but it's not the same thing as the real thing.
Yeah, that's why we,
touche.
See, I wouldn't know that. Like, I wouldn't know that.
Yeah, me
Touche.
neither. Honestly.
So, yeah, I don't want to press on this generation versus generation thing too much, huh? But I really just want to understand. What about on your end? Do you like and or dislike about your generation then, or your age group at least?
The girls
Like or don't
Nah.
like?
don't like.
Don't like the girls.
I actually opposed to
Why
that.
do you
I
say
love
that?
women. I love women.
I love women and all, but like
love women.
still, you know.
I love women.
Nope.
Still what?
I mean,
Explain.
I just feel like it's the whole social media thing makes it really easy to have information on someone. So I feel like if you went out and for say you had like a crazy girlfriend, crazy ex-girlfriend even, they could just easily access where you've been, what you do, where your friends are, stuff like that. And it's weird. I don't like it.
That's a scary thought.
But like,
Yeah.
but like, you gotta think about it though, because as we move on, these things like it become more common. So you gotta like, I feel like instead of like saying like, oh yeah, I feel like this should be banned or like I don't like it, I feel like it's better to just like accept it and kind of be like, okay, I know this person is probably gonna watch me, so I'm gonna try to be the best version of like myself. You know, that's how I think of it.
Yeah, no, I get that. Like it's weird because like then they also talk to their friends about you, and then they're just like they just assume what you're doing, and it's kind of weird. I don't. It's so freaky.
Yeah. Like
I
I'm just
mean,
saying, like I've been in that spot like many times where like people make up rumors about me that is like could be true. You know what I'm saying? Maybe true, but like I'm just saying, like though, like if you just consistently showing that okay, you are like a good person and that you are not what like they are talking about, I feel
Mm.
by consistently showing that and doing that, then even though it's a rumor, like it'll go away. Like it's
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. I feel that. I feel the same
Hmm.
way too.
Hmm.
hmm. It's funny
But
how.
I'm
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
no, no. I was just from what Fong was saying. I'm thinking, do you mean in terms of online and offline personality? It's like you have a brand online, like a personal brand online that you promote and cultivate versus how you are in real life. Is that kind of what you mean?
I feel like there should be a direct like correlation between what you are and what you represent.
Mm,
But I mean, it's cool if you have your own brand. You know, like I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it,
mm.
but there should be
Yep.
some sort of like
But
correlation.
doesn't that make it harder to distinguish what kind of real person you are there if you have so many different aspects of you? Like the difference
Well,
between how you are online and how you are in person?
I think nowadays it's just easy to tell. Like it's just easy to know now, because like I think I've seen it so many times, and like I'm so common to it that like if I see like a certain type of like people online, like I just know that like they be doing something shady on like you know what I mean like offline
Right.
maybe.
Right. Hmm.
If you
Like I
don't,
think yeah.
so sorry. On the flip side of that, if you don't know much about the person that you're talking to online, does that make them shady? Like if you're like you're trying to maybe let's say you somebody offered you a job. Let's say I offered you a job, and then so you start to Google Noel de la Rosa, find out more about what I'm trying to offer you, and you don't find much stuff about it. Do you think twice because you don't know much about what I'm offering you or who I am?
Um, just because we can't search it up, I guess. But at the
Mm.
same time, like if I can't search it up, I'm gonna ask. You know, like if I was offered a job from you, I'd ask what kind of job I'm doing before I search you up, or
Right.
like what do you do? But then
But
at the end of the day, I'm gonna search you up. I'm gonna end up searching you up. Yeah, it's gonna make you a little bit shady, but it's just gonna be like, I asked.
I mean, the thing is, I could tell you everything up front, face to face. We're sitting at a Denny's or a McDonald's somewhere or a Taco Bell for Jason and myself. I'm offering him a proposal for something. We're good. We shake hands, and then you go online. You go on your phone. You search for it, and you don't find much stuff about me or much stuff about what I'm offering you. Where do you go from there? What do you do next?
Well, I mean in that case then it's definitely shady then because let's just say I'm talking to you and you're like, oh yeah, I have this big brand, you know, big on social media, we do big things, we do big
Oh no no no
times.
no no no! I don't say
Oh,
anything about social media. It's like
oh okay.
let's say I'm running a shipping company, for example, but there's no media, there's no
Oh,
post, there's no news about it because we're a good company. We keep our nose clean, for example. You know what
I'm
I mean? So
I
there's
think
nothing online about us because we're
I think
squeaky
I think
clean.
that statement. Oh, okay, that's fine. My bad. I think that statement nowadays is just so like irrelevant. The fact that like, oh, we're a good company. We're not gonna be online. We're not gonna have any social like media presence.
Yeah,
I think
because
that's just so
it's
irrelevant.
yeah. There's always a web. There's always a company. There's all. I feel like every company has a website or like at least a way to access it online. If they really wanted like a shipping company, any shipping company, I feel like you could just search up.
Hmm.
So if I was offered a job, like you offered me a job at, let's say your shipping company, I'd search it up, and if I can't find anything, then I don't know if it's really real or not because I feel like every business has a website.
You got that, Jay? Are you taking notes?
Yeah, I think so. I think I got something out of that one. So speaking, we think a little bit though. Um, it's I can't help but keep going back to how there's always some kind of facade with the generation nowadays, especially because of their online presence. Does that make sense?
A
That's why
facade.
it's so harder to like it's so much harder to try to distinguish the real person that you're dealing with because of what's going on in person and online. How do you draw the line? How do kids nowadays deal with that pressure?
I don't hold it to account of people. If they're different online and they're different in person, I just take it as it is and I just move on.
Yeah, I mean, to me personally, what I stopped doing this to people, but before I used to have like a certain like expectation for people. Let's just say Harry, for example, right? Let me just make up a random example. Let me say I think let me just say just because Harry's Asian, I'm gonna say he's smart, right? He gotta be smart. You know what I mean? Like that's my expectation, and I feel like when that expectation is not met, I'm gonna be like disappointed at him, and that's just gonna like ruin my like relationship with him.
Got it.
So that's the one thing I stopped doing, which is like having expectation for people, and that's not, like it really helped me because let's just say I'm hanging out with this girl and she's like famous on Instagram, bikini pic every weekend, go to Cancun with her family, and then when I see her in person, she's like this this like really like awkward.
Busted.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like wow, like I didn't expect it to be like what I mean this like I'm not gonna say anything, but like this like different.
Yeah, let's segue off this serious topic here a little bit. Dating
Oh,
nowadays, as opposed to like back then, there's a huge difference. All right, because let me tell you about dating in our generation. We gotta work, 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 work. You know what I'm saying? You want to take a girl out, you gotta work for it, man. You gotta ask for her name, her phone number, not like what's your Snap, what's your Instagram. What the fuck is that? I'm sorry.
Yeah. I mean, going back to what Fong was saying, you see her in a bikini on Instagram all the time. And then when you meet up with her, she's wearing pajamas.
Right? What is up with that? If you're gonna post yourself like that on Instagram all the time or Snapchat or whatever, when I see you, you better be like that.
I can't help but think that it's all like a marketing thing, whether you like it or not. The stuff that you post up there.
Yeah.
Whether you don't mean to look like a whore, for example, you don't mean to look sexy all the time on Instagram, but the fact that you are maybe just unconsciously, maybe just because you want to post, body pictures or bikini bod, whether you like it or not, the fact that you put maybe 10 pictures of you on your bikini, 10 pictures consistently, is going to make you look like you're at the beach all the time.
Right.
And then when you meet up in person and you're wearing pajamas and you're closed up from neck to toe.
I'm sorry to cut you off, Noel. I got to let you know about this. I don't know if it's the same thing in the Philippines, but for the past year, the biggest fad that's going on here is everybody's fucking walking around in pajamas. I hate it. I hate it. Everybody is walking around in pajama pants all the time. These goddamn look that those things. Show him. Stand up real quick. Show him. Pajama pants. To school.
You've been wearing those for 3 days straight.
Yeah. To school.
Bro, I didn't wear it yesterday.
To
school, church, sleep.
The mall, the whatever, everywhere. It's annoying. I don't get it. We went to church the other day, Sunday. I kid you not, and I'm not joking. I'm not exaggerating. No less than 3 people, 3 kids, went to church in pajama pants.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Comfortable? Give me yes, it's comfortable, but there's gotta be some.
But is it appropriate?
Thank you. Is it appropriate? Are you gonna go to church wearing pajamas? If you're gonna go to graduation is different because anyway. But my point is, it's everywhere, and that's the biggest fad that's going on here right now. It's so annoying.
Funny you say that. I was just about to order some pajama pants on Amazon.
Oh my god! So sad. My daughter Malaya, I don't know if she's listening still, but I got like 4 different pajamas that I can't find it. And then one day I'll see her just wearing it to school, and I'm like, I've been fucking looking for that day. She has all my pajamas. It's pissing me off. I hate it. Anyway.
Should we go back to dating?
Yeah, dating. So,
tell him.
I don't want to cut you off, but like I feel like this conversation, like to me, is cool. You know what I mean? Talking about girls in bikini stuff is cool, but like to some viewers, I feel like it might be a little sexist. Because we're only mentioning girls.
Right.
Yeah. So,
but guys are notorious for nowadays. Guys are notorious for sending dick pics.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
you
with
know what I
with
mean?
the example that I was giving a while ago for, let's say, for guys, another stereotype would be, posing in front of their car or their Jeep Gladiator, for
Apps picture.
example. So, you get this impression that this guy, is living the life. And then you meet up with the person and it's false marketing, it's false advertising.
Correct.
He has the car, but it's in his garage and it's propped up on a flower pot somewhere because it's got no wheels and no doors. Um, Turns out that those pictures were maybe a couple of years old. I mean,
Mhm.
the whole point is it's marketing whether you like it or not. It's advertising whether you like it or not.
How
Yeah.
is that in relation to dating?
It goes
Ooh.
back to like the person that you're actually meeting. I mean, are
Ah,
you guys satisfied with the people that you guys are, I guess, hanging out with? And do you ever tell the person that, hey, you're posting pictures of your Jeep or your car and or your bikini? Do you ever tell them to like maybe stop posting that because it's not real, it's not true?
that's
Um,
Well,
hard.
I mean,
I feel like
now okay, yeah, my bad.
no,
I
you,
mean,
you got it, Fong. You got it.
nah, I feel like nowadays it's just hard to tell someone to stop, because like you can't really force someone to stop something,
Yeah.
Whereas in like I feel like it's more important to just be like kind of accept it, like learn from like the lesson that like oh yeah, maybe she or he, maybe they're like maybe they post all this, but they're not really all that. So
No,
it's
like
cool.
Harry,
It's
like
fine. Yeah.
Harry, like Harry here, like Harry.
Yeah.
Like let's say he's posting, I don't know,
Insane shoulder pump.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever. And then it turns out that, but when you hang out with them, that's not true. Would you
Well,
tell him that like stop posting it because it's not true?
See, this is where I learned something really important. The more someone try to post about something or like make a big deal about something like going on in their life or like themselves, the more
Mm,
they're insecure about that thing. So let's
mm,
just say I constantly post abs picture, right? Like constantly
mm,
every day, I'm like, oh yeah, today's such a
mm.
good day. You know what I mean? I'm so lean. But in reality, most of the time, the guy is probably having body dysphoria, which is just like he doesn't like his body.
Yeah,
Mm.
that's true. That's why like our generation posts once every while, not every day, unlike you guys, like your generation, because you guys would use social media to show your life. We use it to show our best form of ourselves because we have expectations that we see online and we're
Okay.
just like we
Okay.
gotta like so we don't
Mm, mm.
post to show our life. We post to show like the best version of
Oh,
ourselves. Yeah, pretty
well,
much.
yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Definitely, I fall into one of those categories of those people that post in regards to almost all of things in my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm always posting about my Jeep, my drives, and all
Yeah,
that
cause
stuff.
And it's
yeah.
totally fine. It's cool.
Yeah.
Because, well,
'Cause
I do it
you
because I'm
yeah.
proud of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, honestly, it's the way you guys like adapted to the technology. It's the way you guys adapted to the technology. You guys used it as how it was programmed to be, how it was supposed to
Yeah,
be,
yeah.
and we used it to its advantage, to our
We used it the
advantage.
right way.
Yeah, we used it, and then we're using it as a way to leverage ourselves to make ourselves better. You know.
Did you guys ever
Mm.
experience meeting somebody like a woman or a girl? Um, like back then when we want to date somebody or we like somebody, we'll actually approach those people and talk to them.
There's a
Yeah.
word for it. It's called cold approaching someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've
Like
done
you
that
met.
Now it's
before.
called Riz.
Yeah, now it's
Now
called
it's called
Riz.
Riz.
I'm good
Riz,
at that, I
what
got
Riz like reservations?
no like the ability to attract a female. It's I'm
How
good at
But
that.
Harry, have you ever walked up to a girl that you've never met before, haven't seen her online?
Yeah, I walked up to this one girl and I asked her for a number. She gave it to me. And then she texted me a couple weeks ago and I gave it to Fong. I gave her number to Fong. That was a girl, Fong.
Yeah.
I've done that so many times. I used to play a game. Wait, this is gonna be recorded.
of course.
Is that like is that too
Okay.
much to handle? Like
I
you have to
hope my
pass it on to
girlfriend doesn't
Fong?
find this, but I used to play a game with one of my friends, Peter. We used to play this pointing game where we point at random girls and we just go walk up to them and then ask for their number. It's a really like a personal thing. Like it's basically just
Yeah.
how you are as a
It's
person.
to build your
Because I feel
ego,
like
basically.
it's still the same. Like when I had dyed hair and this was a long time ago. This was last year. Dyed hair. I like, I had earrings. I was looking all cool and stuff. I would talk to so many girls just because I felt like I
On top
felt
of the
like
world.
I was worth it. I was like, like yeah. So when if some one girl stopped talking to me, I could just easily like, okay, I'm gonna talk to another one. It wasn't,
Talk amongst yourselves. Go ahead. Yeah, what's
but
up?
yeah, that's pretty much how it was for
Yeah.
me. I feel like it's
I,
yeah, it's basically just character
I
being
got your
to walk up
picture.
to a person.
Fong, how do you feel about that?
Mm. Wait, about what Harry said?
Yeah, I mean, do you find it fun just
Well,
walking up to anyone?
me myself, I'm not a player, but like Harry is. So you know what I mean. That's what like I draw like the line. You know what I'm saying? Because me, I enjoy being by myself. So I don't really like. I don't really put the effort out to be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna just you know what I mean, go and get this girl's number. I'm gonna get this girl's Snapchat. I'm gonna get this girl's Instagram. You know, like that's not really like a goal for me. No, it is not like something important to me. You
Yeah.
know.
I think
So I don't really mind it, but I wouldn't really do it personally.
I think the biggest factor that we're trying to get at is like when you guys back then, we really need to be able to have um
Do you feel like dating
social
is less like serious now?
now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so because it now it's a numbers game. Sad to say, maybe the last 15 years, 20 years, it's been the numbers game. Back in my day, I don't know about Noel, it's all about longevity and commitment, you know?
If
I
I
I,
feel like
found
it's honestly like different parts of how you are. Some people who like majority of the people nowadays can like the numbers. There's some people who still are old
mm,
fashioned like you guys,
yeah.
which I like to consider myself to be. I'm less of a player, more like a lover boy Fong. All right.
That's cap.
these
I'm
guys are
in it.
so
I am in it to win it.
self-aware. You guys are so self-aware for your age. How young are you guys again?
I'm 17. Fong is 16, I
I'm
think.
turning 17 next week. I'm turning
Oh, no
17 next week.
way. That's awesome. I completely. Oh shit, my fault. I forgot.
Yes, sir.
These
It's all good.
um
It's all good.
these are the some of Harry's friends like Fong. Um he's got a couple of friends that knows you can tell just by their brief conversation with them
Mm,
that they can relate to some of our older generation's point of view. You know, I knew
yeah.
that from the get go from Fong, from the number of times that I've spoken with him. And I could say the same to like two of other Harry's friends. You know what I mean?
Who would that be? Just wondering.
Well, one was Tarek, definitely
Oh
one of the
yeah,
guys that when I
yeah,
talked to him,
Tart is the definition of street smart. He is not book
yeah.
smart.
He's not book smart. Definitely not book smart. But he
yeah,
doesn't act
I've
like
heard.
he's from the street. He doesn't act like he's from the street. He's just like he
Right.
knows stuff. But and
Um,
I'm Adam, right?
but yeah, Adam in a way, yeah,
Yeah,
because of Adam's parents too, though, because I've spoken
yeah.
to his parents. But he's
Oh,
also got.
actually, I
I
really.
can attest to the story here and the truth that when I said earlier that some of these kids are like, well, I wouldn't go as far and go as say dumb, but I've talked to a number of people that are just, man, I have no idea how slow people could get. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's why when Harry said that their generation is smart, there's a big difference as well. I was like, man, dude. But say Lovey.
You don't seem to talk to your kids like they were below you. You seem to be, I
I
mean,
never have.
this is credit to you, Jay, that you seem to talk to them like, they were humans, but not necessarily younger or more stupid than you.
Correct.
Credit to you. I think you're talking to them to a level that they, you know, you expect them to be this way, and then they sort of perform in that level because you don't look down on them.
I've never have. I'll be honest with you, and again, this is going to go on the record because we're getting recorded. Harry and I, we started. There was a long period of time where it was a rough time for us
Mm.
personally between me and him. It was very, very, very rough. Um, different point of views. And to some extent, it's because I've always installed to them to be able to speak their mind. But the one thing that I believe was an issue back then is it can't always be just about what's on your mind. It's never one sided. You have to be able to look at it from everybody's perspective. That's the biggest factor. And I think that he's grown into a man where he's able to, his point of view on logic and his point of view on perspective has kind of broadened out, which is great. You know what I mean? What the hell was that?
Oh, sorry. It's just someone called me.
Oh,
You want to say anything about that, Fong, though? Do you feel the same way?
Yeah, you know.
Hmm.
hmm.
That's
Here's
it.
here's why you can't. I'm gonna tell you why. Because everybody's different in front of everybody. You're never the same to the same people, no matter how much we all believe that.
I mean, it's honestly because I rarely talk serious around my friends. I feel like there's really no need to unless we really are into it, you know?
Right.
Also,
I feel like their generation don't exactly talk about what's currently going on in the world, though. You know what I mean? They don't really have the deep conversations that we always had.
But no, we
Or the
talk about it, but then
meaningful,
we make jokes about it. Like we don't care that much about it.
Yeah.
It doesn't affect us, so.
yeah, like it only matters if it's like affect us like right now, you know. If it's like some like war that's happening like 2,000 miles away, then it's like oh damn, like that's crazy.
Yeah, like it's sad to say, but I thought the Russian and Ukraine war was ended already, but it's still going on.
No.
It's still happening. Yeah.
Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing there. That's the one thing that your
And
generation don't understand, because it's definitely not going to affect you guys at a young age,
Yeah.
but it definitely affects us at the older age, because it affects the financial and economic aspect of our country big time. That's
Yeah.
why gas is so expensive to begin with.
Yeah, I mean, most definitely, but there's really nothing you could do about it, you know? You just have to take it as it is.
Correct. That's
Yeah.
correct.
I feel
But
like
but like I feel like also like a really big factor that I don't think anyone mentioned is the fact that there's so many streams of like media, you know, that nowadays like it's hard to even know like what's like right and wrong now, like you know what I'm saying? Because this literally like what like there's like traditional news you can watch, TikTok, Instagram, and there's also like a lot of like fake news too. So I don't know, it's just hard to like like identify what to like think of, you know.
Yeah. So how do you navigate through that? How do you figure out what or who to listen to then?
whoever's the
Personally,
funniest.
I don't know.
I mean, for me, I just feel like whoever's the funniest, or whoever makes the most sense, or whoever's the one that's not so dumb, so stupid, and then I just listen to them.
Touche.
Like I'm not gonna take in information that I
Yeah.
find is worthless or is dumb.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel like there was a trend on TikTok going around saying that like I don't remember exactly what the trend was, but it was saying something about Rihanna being pregnant with ASAP Rocky, or like cheated on him or something, and everyone believed that thing, right? And it turned out it wasn't true, but it was so big that like it almost seemed true. Like it
Yeah,
was
that's-
like I think it was like a random like TikTok. They're saying like, oh yeah, this happened. Trust me. And then everyone just like, oh no way, that really? And then it just spreads. I don't know. It was just weird seeing that happens.
Yeah, like some people are dumb enough to believe whatever they read on the internet.
Right. All right. Well, I think that's a good place to end things right now. We have to cut it short again because, well, it's a school night for these kids.
I'm gonna let
I mean,
that Hey,
honestly,
we're gonna
if
have
Fong
you
wants
guys
to
back
keep
in
doing
again.
this, he can do it at his house. If
I
he
don't know,
wants
I hope to get you guys back in again, but I'm gonna try to let all that sink in first.
Yeah.
That's a lot for one night.
We're gonna have to reschedule this for another day, probably. Well, Thursday we do have another guest. Is that correct?
Yeah. I was
Okay.
wondering though, while we're wrapping up, is there anything that you guys liked or didn't like about this conversation that we had today? Because it's not an everyday thing that you
It's
get
not
to talk
exactly
to
a
your
planned
dad like this.
conversation as well. So, or yeah, what do you guys think? Did you guys have any kind of feedback on what we discussed?
how we could change,
How
how
we
we
could
can make
change
this
this
conversation
format,
better
yeah.
next time. Yeah, or
Yeah, I feel like broaden the topic. We're stuck on the generation thing. We're always separating each other from each from ourselves.
Right.
I
Yeah.
like you two, and it's just still me and Fong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Definitely. We're
Cool.
gonna have
Yeah,
to venture
that's a
out
good
to a
point.
couple different um topics in the next one.
that's right. That's right. But that was like the elephant in the room, though.
Yeah.
Fong, you have anything to say about that?
Fong.
I feel like we just need to ask more like absurd like question.
Absurd
Because that's
question.
when, yeah, because that's when like listen like even though this podcast it was really good and I really personally like I like it. I feel like if there was more like absurd question,
Yeah.
we would know a lot more about like each other. You know.
So
Where that's
here,
right now, I don't know.
this is how this works. This is event hopefully episode 1 of something like this. So on the next one, obviously it's going to be a lighter tone. This one is more like a get to know you type of thing. And it's always like that from an interviewer to an interviewee, especially in this kind of format. A lot of times the first few times is more like getting to know that person. And then the next one is like, where
It's
it gets
awkward.
yeah. Because you're trying to get over that awkward hump.
Yeah.
That's how that
But
is.
but it's true. It's true. Yeah, we got stuck on the generation thing because it's just it's what's right in front of us. But at the
Right.
same time, at the end of the day, we're all guys. We're all trying to figure shit out.
Right,
Yeah.
right. All right,
That's
guys.
really
Well,
life.
thank you very much, Harry Fong. Thanks for taking the time to join us. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ, man. Listen,
Yeah.
we will definitely get back into this, and we hope to have you guys on probably in the next 2 weeks, and
Yeah.
we can have a better roundtable setup, and we'll have a proper discussion
That's
about it.
awesome. Yeah.
Feel free to figure out something to talk about for the next meeting. Hopefully in 2 weeks, we'll definitely reach out to you. All right.
All right.
All right, guys.
Alright.
Well,
Have a good
again,
night. Have a good night.
this episode is coming on the next one, or not the next one, probably in the third one, but whatever. But on Thursday's episode, we do have a guest. Noel, who's that guest?
I don't want to. I'm not sure yet. Let's see. I'm not
Okay.
sure.
Well, they'll eventually get to us. Anyway, thanks for joining us, guys. Again, this is the Flip Side with Jay and Noel. My name is Jay.
My name is Noel.
Catch you guys later.
On the flip side.
Catch us on the next episode on the Flip Side with Jay and Noel. New episodes uploaded on Wednesdays and Saturdays.